Hi everyone, I'm Alan. Welcome to this channel and thank you for joining me here. Today we're diving into a critical, yet often overlooked, discipline, the data center audit. Whether you're responsible for an on-prem facility, evaluating a co-location provider, or ensuring cloud infrastructure resilience, a systematic audit is your most powerful tool. In the next couple of minutes, I'll provide you with a complete, actionable framework to assess any data center's security, reliability, and compliance. So why invest time and resources in a thorough audit? The stakes couldn't be higher. We're talking about the very heart of your organization's digital existence. A data center failure means catastrophic downtime, direct revenue loss, shattered customer trust, and reputational damage. A security lapse can lead to a devastating breach with legal, financial, and brand consequences. An audit is your proactive health check. It's not about finding fault. It's about managing existential risk, ensuring business continuity, and validating the trust you place in providers. It transforms uncertainty into documented assurance. Before you set foot on the floor, success is determined here, in Phase 0. Pre-audit preparation. This is your planning stage. First, define your scope and objectives. Ask, are we auditing for a specific compliance like SOC 2 or ISO 27001? Is this a general risk assessment? Which parts of the facility are in scope? Next, assemble a cross-functional team. You need diverse eyes, physical security experts, network engineers, compliance officers, and operations leads. Finally, gather documentation in advance. This includes security policies, incident response plans, network diagrams, maintenance logs for generators and UPS systems, and previous audit reports. Reviewing these documents beforehand allows you to ask intelligent, targeted questions on site. Now let's enter the facility, starting with Pillar 1, physical security and access control. The goal is simple: prevent unauthorized physical access. We employ a layered, defense in-depth model. Start at the perimeter: fences, bollards, well-lit exteriors. Move to entry points. Is there a man trap or secured lobby? Then scrutinize the access control system. It should use multi-factor authentication, like a badge plus a biometric scan. Critically, access must follow the principle of least privilege. Does the cleaning crew have the same access as a network engineer? Of course not. You must audit the logs. Are access records reviewed regularly for anomalies? Finally, check internal controls. Comprehensive CCTV with 90-day retention, secure disposal bins for media, and strict visitor escort policies. A single physical breach can bypass all your digital defenses. The data center's lifeblood is its infrastructure, power and cooling. Your audit must verify resilience and redundancy. For power, trace the path from the grid to the server. Key checkpoints: UPS systems. What's their capacity and load? How old are the batteries? Demand to see recent load bank test results. Generators. Do they have on-site fuel for 24, 48, or 72 hours? Are there tested fuel supply contracts? Look at power distribution. Are critical racks fed by dual independent paths, A and B feeds? For cooling, assess capacity versus current IT load. Use thermal imaging to hunt for hotspots. Is there cold, hot aisle containment? Check the redundancy of chillers and air handlers. Is it N+1 or 2N? And finally, verify that environmental monitoring, temperature, humidity, water detection, is in place with proactive alerting. The question for every component is, what happens when this fails? Even with perfect physical security and power, weak processes can cripple you. This is Pillar 3, operational and logical security. First, network security. Are networks properly segmented? Is the management network isolated from customer traffic? Review firewall rule sets and change logs. Second, and perhaps most important, change management. Every modification, from a router config to a power panel update, must follow a formal, approved process. Audit recent change tickets. Were they approved? Was there a back-out plan? Third, incident response. Is there a playbook? Has it been tested in the last 6 months? Review past incident logs to see if the process was followed. Lastly, asset management. Conduct a spot check. Do 10 servers physically in a rack match the asset inventory? How are decommissioned drives sanitized? Strong operations turn good design into reliable execution. Our fourth pillar looks at governance, compliance, and business continuity. Don't just accept a certificate at face value. For compliance, if they claim ISO 27001, ask for the latest statement of applicability and internal audit reports. Verify the certificate's scope includes the services you're using. For business continuity and disaster recovery, this is critical. You must go beyond having a plan. You need to ask, show me your last DR test report. What was the recovery time objective? Was it met? How are critical vendors managed? Review their SLAS and penalty clauses. This pillar answers the question, when things go wrong, and they will, how prepared are they, and can they prove it? All that documentation review leads to this moment, the on-site visit. This is where you validate theory against reality. Walk the floor. Look for simple but telling signs. Is cable management a rat's nest or neat and labelled? Are aisles clear of trip hazards and combustible materials like cardboard? Are cabinet doors actually locked? Interview the staff. Ask a control room operator. What's your procedure if the fire alarm sounds? Ask an engineer, how do you schedule maintenance on a live UPS? Their answers and their confidence tell you about the culture of security and procedure. You're looking for consistency between what's written, what's said, and what's done. After the visit, you enter the final phase. Analysis and reporting. Synthesize all evidence, documents, observations, interviews. Risk rate every finding. A critical finding might be a single point of failure in power. A high finding could be missing security patches. Your audit report must be clear and actionable. It needs an executive summary for leadership and detailed findings that follow a simple structure. Here's what we found, here's the evidence, here's the risk, and here's our recommendation. The deliverable isn't the report itself, it's the corrective action plan that management must create in response. This plan needs owners and deadlines. And crucially, schedule a follow-up audit to verify those actions are closed. This closes the loop. You don't need to invent this from scratch. Leverage established frameworks as your guide. ISO 27001 is the gold standard for information security management. SOC 2 provides rigorous, auditor-verified trust principles. The Uptime Institute tier standard defines levels of infrastructure resilience. And the NIST cybersecurity framework gives you a fantastic structure. Identify, protect, detect, respond, recover. Mix and match these based on your audit's objective. They provide the checklist. You provide the context and critical thinking. To wrap up, a data center audit is a systematic, risk-focused investigation of people, processes, and technology. It moves you from assumption to evidence, from uncertainty to informed confidence. Remember the core principles. Trust but verify. Follow the data and the power flow. Look for the single point of failure. Whether you're auditing your own facility or a provider, this framework empowers you to ask the right questions and demand evidence. In our digital age, the resilience of your data center is the resilience of your business. Make sure that foundation is solid. That's all for my sharing today. If you found this channel is useful, please feel free to subscribe and share it with your friends or your colleagues. Thank you, and have a nice day.